think you're live yet. But I got an ad.
Okay.
For Elder Scrolls Online, in case you were wondering.
Oh, cool. They better be paying me that sick money.
Just feel like Bethesda, you owe me money.
Alright.
Okay, I see a game over screen.
Get ready, you're about to see that a lot. Way more than you rightfully should. Okay. So, are you ready? You see me in the corner? Oh, now I'm dropping down, okay. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spot.
Oh, you mean where the particle effect is clipping through the wall?
Nope, nope. Watch. Here in a moment. There we go. So, I will demonstrate it from the other side as well.
Yeah, I would say that effect is intentional because what you're doing is you're reducing the friction on the ground while having a sideways force.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd say that's working as intended. Also,
Okay.
that guy's a jerk.
I know, right? Why can't he just leave me alone, like, sit here beat booping around?
Also, how is this Def Jam fight for New York?
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, this is totally Def Jam Fight for New York, I swear.
I guess I will have to. Guess I'll have to change my naming plans.
Like, aren't I flying around in the let's see. These are the voyages of the starship Tikal. Method Man as Captain Kirk, basically.
I gotta say, it's kind of jarring to me to see just the black background without any parallax stars.
Oh yeah?
Those actually add a lot.
Oh. Thanks. Also, I know it shouldn't count me as a viewer. It's counting you and someone who may not be logged in. So, to whoever is logged in, yes, Def Jam Fight for New York is a lot different than you remember it. Trust me.
Also, with you.
I know, right? Kind of helps if I'm not just half-assed looking at the screen.
So yeah, this is like 8 hours of development time.
Nice.
And graphically, it shows.
I'm gonna say, and definitely, right? I was kind of surprised that it must have been counting as connecting with the white instead of the red there.
Yeah, that was actually one of the gameplay changes I made since making this build. I removed the collider off of the arms. So it shouldn't do things like that anymore, but with this build, it still will.
Yep. Boom. There we go. Oh wow. Funny it's spun right under me.
Well, that was interesting.
What's that?
It didn't reset the laser length when you pulled off of the UFO. I'll have to see if I can replicate that.
boom, off-screened. And the disrespect. Look as I off-screen him and then just land on the fucking side.
Yep, they don't damage you after you kill them.
Yep, I figured. I mean, to be fair, it's not like LJN made the game.
I'm starting to get a pretty big collection of them over there. And that is another thing that I need to address is the propensity of them to
Personal best.
comment on.
Oh yeah. Personal best right there.
The 7?
Yes. Mainly because I've been doing a little bit more testing. Let's see here. What category would this be considered? Because I'm going to rename this just for us to point back and look for shit on. Testing, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, hey, yeah. Testing game is a literal category. I blame Glenn not supporting your game or my stream right now.
I mean, maybe it is Glend watching. I'd be surprised, though.
I don't get that sweet, sweet user data, though, if he isn't logged in. Boom.
And I'm starting to think it's not possible to get higher than 66 with the amount that it spawns at that point.
Man, I'm thinking it's not possible to get higher than 7 in this current build.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's possible to get higher than 66. All I need to do is stop messing up.
You need to become this game's biggest tryhard.
Well, I mean... Seeing how, as of this point, it's literally you, me, and Tack who have played this game.
Oh yeah?
That's it.
What's Tax PB?
Her general consensus was that it was pretty fun, but that she's not interested in this type of game generally.
It doesn't seem like her type of game.
It really isn't. Nice hat.
Thank you. It got awfully heavy, though.
It really did. Like I said, probably the next thing I'm going to address is the fact that these guys like to stack together.
Well, my question is, if they do stack together, do they all take damage at once? Nope.
Nope, they do not.
Because I'd be alright with that, as long as you can stack white. That's right, that's right. Anyone watching the VOD, you know what we're talking about. Succession game shenaniganry.
So, speaking of the Succession game, I'm pretty sure that I should call this game Smokus.
I mean,
Seems like a good name.
you know, I don't see why not. Oh, check it out.
Ooh, personal best?
Well, not only personal best, but I was taking them out with the weak laser.
It is possible. It's just not very heat efficient.
Yeah, guys, we are on a PB run right now. Wait. Does that mean we can do shit like talking about how a VIN is really a VIN number and call this a PBR run? Because if I can make the reference that this is a beer run, like my day is made. Oh Jesus! He came out right from under me.
Yeah, it's possible.
Right? Look at that!
In fact, he actually spawned right next to you. I was watching the radar. Currently, the spawner doesn't take into account your current location, so technically, it's very unlikely. But because it just spawns it anywhere inside the level, technically they can spawn them like inside of you. That's another one of those things that I'll iron out soon.
Oh.
What was your score for that last one?
Oh shit.
I think it was like 22.
Was it? I think I got that high?
I have no idea. We'd have to go back and check, I think.
Okay, for anyone watching on the VOD, go ahead and tell us afterwards.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Well, I'm getting a report from our time-traveling VOD watcher that apparently it was 2. They may be trolling.
I think so. Glenn? What the fuck, dude? Though not the most efficient tactic, sometimes I do find it funny to just sit on their hat and or sit on their rim and shoot them before they kill me while I'm sitting on the rim.
Definitely not efficient. It is funny, though.
Right? Oh! Damn. I'm disrespecting these hoes.
I mean, they are terrible naval pilots.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm gonna run out of space so fast. Okay, never mind. I will touch them and go flying across the entire arena. Well, that's a physics bug.
Oh?
Not sure what exactly caused it. Oop, they just tried to sandwich me. One from above, one from below. That's always fun.
Alright, I'm on a 3 ship spree with the weak laser right now.
I'm not sure that's the greatest idea. You'll be overrun pretty quick.
This is to prevent me from getting overrun. There we go. Now I got some breathing room. Heat cooldown. Like, what am I firing at with on these guys? A PPC or something?
I haven't decided. It is some form of energy weapon. internally in the scripts, I call it a laser.
Can we just call it a laser in quotation marks then?
Sure.
The laser. 18, personal best. I'm calling it the personal best because I wasn't keeping an eye on that.
I'm out of fuel. Oh crap. Okay. This is gonna suck. Need to get momentum going. Nope. 58. Running out of fuel screwed me there. That was my bad, though. Shouldn't have burned quite so hard trying to get above the big stack. Also, I note it runs at a solid 60 FPS on your computer. I would hope it did.
I mean, I don't have the Glint toaster, but I hope it does too.
I'm surprised if it didn't run at 60 on his. Like, the most triangles this thing gets up to is about 10K right now.
What is the green again? I'm trying to recall.
Green is health.
I thought that's what... Oh, blue is shield then?
Yeah, blue is shield.
Okay. That makes sense. And here I had been really fucking it up because I read about I glanced about the power-ups. So...
And they're not really power-ups. It's just resource stuff.
True.
Anyway. I'm sure there will be power-ups in the future.
Did I just off-screen kill a guy again? And this time at range?
Possible. Technically, the range on the laser is 20 units, so that's probably about 2 screens horizontally. So it is possible. Yeah, I just off-screen killed the guy. Never actually saw him.
All the wonderful things I can find when I go down to the floor.
One thing I also might implement is when you are using your thrusters essentially in melee range, I might make that cause some damage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, then you're most likely anyways gonna get some asshole who sits there and does that for fun. I mean, who even does shit like that?
Well, I hope they have fun running out of fuel.
I will. I mean, what? Oh, damn. All those collected ships.
Yeah, they kind of wrecked you.
I would say they kind of two-shot me.
Yeah, fun fact, currently the AI ships are not physics-driven, which is one of the reasons why they stack together the way they do. But that also means that when they stack together and all start hitting you, they're all hitting you. So
Yep.
you take damage from all of them.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't deal damage to all of them.
I
Which is one
assumed.
of the reasons why one of the reasons why I want to put a stop to that behavior.
Well, it might be something cool to have for a certain enemy type.
Yeah. Have them be like, I don't know, some sort of nanobot type thing where
Yes.
on their own they're really, really, really inefficient, but you let them group up and they'll like one-shot you.
Yep. Nanoblobs. I like it. I don't know.
Something like that. That feeling when you're sitting on one and he brings your shields down to 0 and then you kill him and he drops 3 shield capacitors.
All right.
Only a 6% chance for him to drop 3 pickups.
Any chance at 4 or no, not yet?
Currently 3 is the max. I might change it later, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Now I'm really in the swing of this.
Yeah, you're getting the hang of the flying. Like I said, once you actually get a little bit of practice with it, it feels really natural, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of hard to wrap your brain around. But that just means I'll need a decent tutorial.
Like I have this really awkward thing in my head about like a space flight school. I was like, oh, by the way, here's your worship. Oh, what? No. Oh yeah. Funny thing about that, when you signed on to learn how to fly a spaceship, you may or may not have signed away any and all rights to not joining the naval capacity.
We got our naval cap up. Now we just need to get our fleet cap up. Oh, that guy almost was really rude. He started shoving me into a pile of another one. Or of like 3 of them.
Oh shit. Those some rude
I did
dudes.
get out of it, but what a rude dude.
Can I break PB? PB broken. I'm at 19 PB now.
Nice. I'm gonna go check the bottom and see if there's any health down here. There is. By the way, try to avoid picking up pickups when you're at full for that type of resource.
Exactly. Like I only did early on a thing when I was completely full for stuff, just for... I can't remember why.
He thought he was gonna cut me off. Oh, he did cut me off. He spawned literally in the wrong place, but luckily the physics plugged out and threw me across the world.
Oh, that dude is a rude dude. Personal best is 22, though.
I just officially hit 67.
Holy shit, it is possible.
68. Ah, they're trying to cut me off. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's so many of them. And they're always spawning. I gotta get to the bottom. How about no? Oh. Well, I got 71.
Nice.
I almost managed to weave through the like 30 of them that were there, but I clipped one.
Wait, you almost?
Indeed.
Because it's all the time. See, that's what we need to do, is we need to make Ulm our capital.
You're not wrong.
Regardless of how terrible of an idea that is.
It's a great idea. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what am I talking about? The best idea. Greatest laid plans of mice and men. And horses. We haven't had a single glitter hoof yet. What the fuck?
You're right, we haven't. We've stayed remarkably away from the lunacy. Nice standing on the hat with your shields down.
I wanted to take him to a gunfight. Instead, he took me to the gun show.
Well, that was a death from above.
Oh, you got one?
No, I was watching yours.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, my general assessment of this prototype is I get a few more interesting things in it, like a few more enemy types, things to shake up the flight, like gravity wells and such, and I think I'll really have something.
Oh, yeah. I would have to agree. Oh, damn. Just about got pincered to death.
They didn't break your shields, though.
Yep. Now, I guess one...
I would recommend sitting on a double hat with full heat, though.
What are you talking about? Best laid plans of mice and men. And horses.
Especially horses.
I'm pretty sure that's the pilot, right? The USS Snedgus, or the EOB Snedgus, flying specifically by Glitterhoof.
I mean, based on the quality of the piloting, I think the enemies are piloted by Glitterhoof.
Are you kidding me? At this point, I'd say they're piloted by the combined forces of the Muslims and the Pope.
And maybe Pickland.
And pick, lad! Oh.
Good old Captain Mercia.
Speaking of multiple characters in a thing, right? Like that segue, like Paul Blart up in here.
Oh yeah.
Is this going to be having multiple ships that you can choose, or one type of ship, focusing more on upgrades?
I'm thinking more like the latter, but I don't think it'll be a ship.
Oh?
I think it'll be a suit of some type. I mean, this doesn't really make sense as a ship.
Okay. See, admittedly...
Like a conga line of dudes.
Right. Give me one moment. I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay. Needed to grab something to drink, and I noticed noises outside.
Well,
So,
disturbing. I don't like noises. As you may have noticed from my game that doesn't have any yet.
right?
I'm not worried about sound, just... I am uploading the latest version. Like I said, it's not a huge amount of changes from that build that you're on, but I'm getting it to you so you can have like an actual background, and there are a couple of bug fixes. It says 46 seconds left, but it started with 1 second left and has gone up to 47 seconds. Hooray, my upload. Of course, I'm also uploading a YouTube video, so there's that.
True, one of the times that my connection somehow is better than yours uploads.
Yep. Well, you know, if Mosaic would ever get around to getting me that gigabit they keep threatening. Okay, so it still says 46 seconds left. but it's starting to go down now. 45 seconds left. Good. But I am uploading that Stellaris episode 78.
Nice.
Wherein, well, we're starting to do things. Oh, hey, I got a new subscriber.
Oh?
24 minutes ago, apparently.
Does it give a name or no?
Big JG Bill, apparently.
Oh, cool.
However, I'm still only at +1 for today. So, that means somebody unsubscribed.
If only they knew what sweet, sweet content awaited with this.
Right? I'm thinking about completely redoing this prototype on the channel, like after Crusader Kings goes, like after we finish Crusader Kings, redoing this prototype as a bit more fleshed out of a concept and putting that whole thing on my channel.
Oh yeah? Nice. The whole process of making it?
Just be like, hang on, guys, I got to open up the Unity documentation because I don't remember what the parameters to this method are. That's like 95% of my time programming.
Oh shit, I'm dangerously close to PB.
You've also got a big old stack there.
No! I matched PB, but... Shit.
Yeah, when those stacks get that big, you die pretty quick.
See, I knew it would have helped if I started this whole stream off with his voice. Isn't that the best way?
Definitely. Okay, I think Dropbox is done being really slow. Here's the new link.
Alright.
It's an extra 200 kilobytes. I hope you can handle that.
Oh shit, I don't think I can. I mean, you vaguely know my specs, potentially. I know that we went over them. I don't think this powerful machine can handle that.
Yeah, I think you'll need an upgrade. Maybe you should download more RAM.
Oh, well, I was just gonna use a magnet to increase my computer's efficiency.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
Oh, watch that ride. Holy shit.
For the sake of the other person watching this stream,
Do not do that. Yeah.
do that.
Never do that. If you don't do it, never ever do that. If you're Glenn, do that. Do that so hard.
Oh, if it was Glenn, he would have said something by now.
Unless Glenn wanted to be a rude dude.
I'm pretty sure he couldn't refrain from discussing these things with us for this long. I notice that you use your maneuvering thrusters pointing down a lot. I mean, I do too, but you don't do them pointing up very much, I've noticed.
True.
I found that it's mostly useful to do that when you've got them closing in around you, because you can actually accelerate with gravity doing that and then just drop down below them and then flank them. Because it'll actually push you down faster than gravity.
True. Dangerously close to a PB again.
So you are. And there's only 2 on the map.
3 now.
Well, you just went sailing by that guy.
Right. Went like a mosaic truck passing your guys' house to do an upgrade.
That sounds right.
Boom, PB time. I don't have anywhere near close to the any percent for this run, but I'll take my PB.
Well, the any percent speed run on this thing is going to be heavily RNG dependent.
24.
Wow, that guy was really insistent on pincering you up against that wall.
He was. I think he wanted some of this.
So there's no exit button. If you want to exit, you'll need to Alt F4.
Okay. Well, right now I will go ahead and pop in and start downloading the new build.
Okay.
And then I will keep playing this until the new build is ready.
All 16 megabytes. 16.2. I tell a lie.
Okay, go up here, go to folder space.
So am I correct in thinking that it was because of the OneDrive fiasco that it was giving you a fantastic graphics quality?
Nope, it was because, for whatever reason, it saved it into OneDrive, but I didn't realize that I was in OneDrive documents. Went to another folder with the same name in documents, and opened up that one with the car. That wasn't really quite yet a racing game, but I think it was meant to be.
Game?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. It was very close to being a racing game.
You know, honestly, I've been kind of thinking on doing very similar to a Twisted Metal type of game under that kind of guise. But now, right now I figure I'm a lot more useful helping test this and not failing at programming. I have some small aspects that I can do.
Yeah.
But
Well,
oh, look at that.
maybe seeing how I make this game when I make this into a YouTube series, maybe that'll help.
Watch your series somehow help better than quills. That
I doubt it.
would be really fucking awkward.
Another thing I plan on doing is making the corpses either stick around longer or fade out or disintegrate or, you know, something, rather than just sit there for 5 seconds and then vanish.
Hey, Bob.
Hmm.
No disintegration.
Well, maybe I'll just give them a nice bath of neutron radiation.
Oh god. And now that I got my Darth Vader line out of the way, you know, I think actually the whole disintegrating might be cool, but I almost wonder if maybe explode, disintegrate, or just, you know,
Like have multiple deaths.
exactly like, oh, hey, are you using a ballistic weapon, a laser weapon, a disintegrating weapon, explosive? Because, I mean, that could definitely show some promise.
Yeah.
Ooh. These boils just don't seem to get it, do they?
Just keep coming.
Right? I mean, I'm gonna sit on their little skirt there every day and just shoot them in the face. Oh, good time to pick up that shield there. As two of them combine into more. Speaking of combine, though, I need to find a way to kill these guys faster. These lasers are too slow.
Must kill fast, and lasers too slow.
Yeah.
You started killing them with your bare hands.
With my bare hands, yes.
Gotta love off-screen kills.
Right? Okay, the red really shows a lot more through versus the kind of, I won't say discolored, but the other ones were kind of almost a grayed out red. Was that a change in the build, or is it just somehow happening for unknown reason?
Looks the same to me. Then again, I'm colorblind, but
Ah.
on your stream, it looks like the same red. I don't think I changed it.
I could also just be insane too, so
I did change the lighting, I think. That might be it.
possible.
As part of my changes to the background. Now, obviously, there's a horizon line in the background, and the parallax stars aren't exactly realistic, but I think it's a cool effect.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not exactly going for realism here, as you may have guessed.
Considering these look like things I make and cook serve delicious, the enemies. The Desert Empire.
The enemy model was just two primitives that I smashed together in Unity in 5 seconds and called it a day. Didn't even fire up Blender for any of this. And it shows.
Oh man, we are on a sick PB run.
Oh wow, you are. Nice.
But now I better get some health from the bottom of the screen.
Also, another next step would be to have obstacles show up on the radar.
Oh yeah? Well, like asteroid or something, or...
Well, for now it would just be the outer walls, but eventually anything that you can impact. So you can actually kind of see, you know? Because right now, you can just be falling and falling and falling, and by the time you actually see the wall, it's too late. You're going to impact. Which, I mean, there's no fall damage right now, but I may change that. May not. Who knows?
I mean, I hate to be sitting here killing these things. They look delicious. But I really want that
They
PB.
look delicious, don't they?
They do. It's almost like there's a cherry on top. Jeez. The doom stack that's I know is just flying
Those are
under
my
me.
doom stack. I've got like 30 of them here, all stacked together. I need to go see if I can get any heat reducers. Why are they all health pickups? I don't need health.
I mean, you're not me. You don't actively enjoy flying on the top of things.
Oh, I enjoy it. I just don't do it because it's not efficient. I got a personal best here.
55, damn it. So close. Or not even close to your personal best at all. But still, I got my personal best. I'm pretty pleased with that. Alright. Was Tack able to get the grasp of the flying soon enough, or no?
I mean, it took her a little while.
I didn't know if it was like a. But I know that this is definitely her style of game, but I didn't know if maybe that was another thing as well, where it took a bit longer. And it was like, ooh.
Oh, I live.
Yes.
I'm down below the doom stack though, and out of fuel. This is really bad.
I believe in you.
Okay, I got some acceleration going, and now I have a couple seconds to refuel, and we're out of here. That also let me drop my heat. Pinned against the wall, though, I really don't like this position. Ooh, this is the end. Yep. 87.
Nice. Now, are you going to have different maps have different potential heat factors?
I haven't considered heat factors. I would probably not do it on the map level, but rather I would probably make it be on a like aura around particular map objects level.
Okay.
So, like, for example, I have no idea what the scale of this thing is going to look like. It might be just like massively out of scale where a star is like 20 times bigger than a person or something, you know, something wacky like that. If that's the case, then getting close to the star would drastically increase your heat.
Right.
But I don't know if you'll interact with like celestial bodies of that magnitude that directly. I haven't fully decided how that'll all work. I mean, I literally started this project yesterday, so.
Right. And yet it's still in way better progress than anything on Greenlight. Or Patreon, for that matter.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I really like about this concept is its simplicity.
Oh yeah. Very easy to approach, for sure. Like you said, it's very arcadey.
Yeah. But yet the purely physics-driven movement gives it some wackiness.
Mm-hmm. Ooh! Shield health and cooldown.
Ooh, very nice.
I mean, unfortunately, I was so close that I ended up automatically collecting it. I didn't need any of it but the cooldown, but just the fact that it was those three was really awesome.
But yeah, you've definitely gotten the hang of the flying.
Oh yeah. Like I would say, I am one of the 2 consummate professionals in this game right now.
I mean, you do hold the, well, I mean, I hold like a bunch of the top 10, but I think you're in there now. And if we say only for personal bests, you hold the second best personal best.
I mean, you are right. Yes. Eat your heart out, Stacy. I mean, it's not like I know anyone named Stacy, but always funny for the humor of it.
Indeed. And as far as different weapon systems go, well, I haven't given a huge amount of thought to how that would work mechanically, because I feel like right now a lot of the feel of the game is defined by the laser.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how much of that I want to change. I do think there should be other, not necessarily other weapon systems, but there should be something. One thing I was thinking was a QWER skill system where you'd be able to change your skills and kind of customize that. One that Tack suggested is a sort of freeze skill that you use it and it like freezes all of the enemies on the screen and turns off their anti-gravity, and if they crash into something like anything, if they crash into anything, then they just like shatter. But again, I don't know what the resource usage of that would look like. I don't know if it would be purely cooldown based. I think that would feel a little bad. So I need to give a lot of thought to how exactly I want this to work. And as for what possessed me to start creating this, don't ask. I don't even know. Sometimes you just start messing around and come across something that's fun.
So it was probably just, oh hey, pissing around in Unity, and oh, so this is what I started with. Let's run with it?
Pretty much.
Nice. Okay.
I started making just the thruster systems, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it, but then it just kind of evolved from there, and I'm like, well, what if you had a laser, but you could only choose whether you wanted to thrust or shoot? And
ooh.
that's kind of where it started.
Nice.
And then the resource system was born out of that, because I was just like, well, it still feels a little too unlimited. You feel like a lot of your choices don't matter without the resource system. Now, I do feel like having 4 bars to keep track of is kind of cluttery, and I might rework that at some point, but I do feel there should be resources. I might like combine the shields and health in some way later on or something, so that you have like a certain number of it would be the same thing, but both would be like in the same bar.
So like there'd be a green bar but with a blue bar underneath it.
Something. Yeah,
where
I don't know.
Blue bar lowers, revealing the green bar for as low as the shield is, and then
yeah, something like that.
Okay. Although,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, but...
Actually, I don't. maybe they should be separate just for, oh hey, you have this much health versus having this much shield. Fuck everything that I was just saying, because, ooh, that could get you into a dicey spot. Because what I was saying, I just realized the huge error in it.
Oh?
Yep. What happens if you cover up the health bar with the shield bar, and you now have lost health, but you've replenished that shield?
Well, the health bar would, or rather the shield bar, would be transparent.
Okay.
It would be an overlay. It wouldn't completely cover it.
Okay, in that case, you have negated any concern I had with my idea. Doing your forward thinking and ideas. You're the brains behind this operation. I'm purely the brawn. And by that I mean...
You know, I've started a lot of game projects.
True.
I've finished very few of them, to be sure. But starting as many game projects as I have, I've learned a few things about forward thinking.
This is true. Admittedly, at some point...
You get 3 pickups. All of them are heat. And you're at 0 heat.
Oh. The exact opposite thing of the last time you said that exact phrase about this game to me. Because I remembered the last time you needed nothing but heat and you got 3 heat. And this time, yeah.
I'm only on kill 26. I'm not in the super high demanding heat portions yet. Heat demands once you get to 70 are just insane. Because, fun fact, I know how much DPS you do, and how much DPS is possible to do, and I know how much heat generation it takes, and I know how much HP the enemies have. So I can tell you unequivocally, it is impossible to kill an enemy faster than it's spawning once you reach approximately somewhere around 150 spawned enemies.
Wow.
It is literally impossible. You will die at some point. Or your computer will crash from the sheer number of enemies, if you're Glenn.
Now I'm just kind of curious to see what it looks like on its computer.
You know, I'll be honest, I want him to play this game just because I know that he has a really low-spec machine.
And you want to see how it performs. See, I'm getting now.
In fact, that's one of the big reasons why I added the FPS counter.
Because the better it can perform on a lower machine, the more available the product is to a much broader market. Oh, hey.
I mean, ultimately, depending on how many bells and whistles I have and how long the average levels end up taking, might be reasonably viable as a mobile game too.
True.
This guy thought he was gonna pincer me up top. Joke's on him.
You've already pincered yourself. Oh, nice.
But I mean, one thing is for sure, I've already gone a little bit ham on the particle effects for mobile, I think. I'm not sure how it's going to actually perform. But regardless, mobile isn't the target platform.
Yep.
I am looking forward to getting a boss battle designed for this game, though. That's something that I do want to do.
Okay.
And I will probably do that sooner rather than later as a proof of concept boss battle.
Nice.
It will be very exciting. And by exciting, I mean there will be a lot of oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. I mean, the funny thing is, even with these really, really crappy enemies, there's already a lot of oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
Yep. I will admit one thing. Once I can get better with programming, I will admit I really would like to return back to the Adventures of Northumberland, yes. But I'll admit skill-wise, I'm so far behind you, and I hated taking up so much of your time for mine.
I don't really mind. That said, for the next 2 months, I might mind.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with this and those two new properties being made, and I was gonna say that other one's probably just gonna be simple once the actual sale is closed, right? Or is it?
It's a distressed property. It'll need work.
Well, of course it's distressed. It's in Rice Lake. I'd be distressed if I were in Rice Lake. I was distressed living in Cameron. And I didn't even live in Cameron proper.
Oh, 1 HP. I lived with 1 HP.
Nice. Question: which particle effects have you noticed sometimes going missing?
The particle effects that are most likely to fail to turn up, I have noticed, appears to be the most likely is the actual laser portion of the laser. The sparks often turn on. And then the other one is the hand thrusters. Very, very rarely I've had the foot thrusters not show up.
Okay. Yeah, the hand and foot thrusters for me I haven't seen, but yeah, I've seen the laser one, so I didn't know if that one was one that hasn't popped up much or not for you, so that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know if it's a new report or not.
I'm not sure exactly why it's happening yet. I need to take a look at the spawning logic. I mean, it's not really spawning. The laser always exists. It's just sometimes too narrow to see. Actually, I think when it's down to let me check. Actually, I have the code right here. Why am I just making things up?
This is fun.
Yeah, it does actually turn itself off when the width is less than 0.001. So the lasers do turn off, technically, but they're already too narrow to be seen at that point. As for why they sometimes don't spawn, well, the only thing I can think of is that it has to do with the check for heat. But if that happens, then I'm not sure why the sparks spawn, because it's at the same time. So I need to take a look at what the actual laser goal width is while one of those events is happening. So I need to try to reproduce it while monitoring that variable, and that's always annoying.
Especially while fighting strawberry shortcakes. Ah! Damn it! I couldn't get him off of me.
Yeah, I just watched that encounter. That is one of those problems that comes with me not actually using the physics system on the enemies. So he was just ignoring all of the physics and just kept pushing forward. That's something that will be changing relatively soon.
Is that going to be a before or after proof of concept boss fight?
Well, I don't know. I haven't put together any sort of a priority list on things that I want to do for this yet.
So, I do want to give you a heads up. I looked down to see how high my energy had got, or how high my heat had got. It had not got above 15 in that. On that very first enemy that I killed on this loop, it was at 0 starting point. When I started firing, it was invisible. I don't know if it's even necessarily a heat thing, question mark.
Okay.
But
well, it's supposed to set the width multiplier is set if you are that might have something to do with it. Where do I no, that's right there. So that should be at the same time. So if you are holding down the laser button and your current heat is not greater, or your current heat is less than max heat, and you're not holding down the hand thrusters button, then the laser is supposed to show up. However, I think I might have just figured it out.
ooh.
Well, I have a theory. If current heat is greater than or equal to max heat, then you do this, and you enable it if it gets too small, or you disable it if it gets too small. Okay, yeah. Let me test this. let's let the heat drop. Uh-huh. That is intriguing.
No.
I managed to reproduce it twice there, and both times I was doing the same thing. Let me try this again. Maybe it was a fluke.
You know what they say, half of everything is luck. The other half is fate. A wise man once said that. I can't tell you his name though. We don't know if it's Sean Bean or Sean Baum yet.
He needs to make up his mind.
Right?
Well, that doesn't seem to be it. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happens, but I am aware that it happens. I've noticed it a few times. I think it's related to trying to fire your hand thrusters and your lasers at the same time while also being at high heat. I don't know that for sure, though. I don't know if the heat actually has anything to do with it. But I guess we'll see if I can reproduce it a little more consistently. Another thing that I plan to do that's a relatively minor visual thing is I plan to have the camera slightly lag behind the character based on their velocity, so it feels a little bit faster, like the camera is having a hard time keeping up.
Oh, okay.
But that's a pretty low priority thing.
Right. I was gonna say one thing we will want to do too is see how that works compared to normal, because I have the faintest idea that that might be a potential thing with difficulty on it too. Whereas, you know how some of the older did you play much for platformers at all back in the day, or not really?
Not a ton.
Okay. I was gonna say, did you ever have any experiences with games where the screen is moving a bit too fast for you to really keep an eye on what's out there in front of you or the direction you're going?
No, not really. But
Okay.
what I'm talking about is a much, much more subtle thing than I think what you're thinking.
Right, and that's why I was like, we'll see what it looks like when you have that active, because
I mean, we'll have to tune it, obviously.
right. Why not just set it at 1,000% and just be like,
point by just typing in a number and leaving it there for like force levels and stuff. There was a lot of testing that went into the tuning the feel of the movement.
I'd almost say just set it at 1,000 and watches Mr. Jumper Space Suit Man just accelerates to the fucking ceiling and comes. Yes, exactly.
He's just like, I have a headache now. Because he would also stop instantly.
I mean, what does he have to complain about? I mean, Northumberland has it worse.
You're not wrong.
Actually, at one time he had it worse.
Well, did we ever get Northumberland to the place where he could punch? Yeah, we did.
Yep, we have the punching mechanic. Yes, it technically works as a projectile as far as its visual representation, but yes, he punches. He punches and he jumps.
Because I was too lazy to animate the stick figure.
Well, also, why animate the stick figure when we would then have to, when we eventually have art for him, reanimate it anyways, right?
That was pretty much the idea, because I mean, the actual punch, as far as programming is concerned, would probably work the same way.
Yep.
It's just the visual representation of it.
Lord Jimmy of Ireland. Fucking great. Or King Jimmy, rather. I don't know.
Looks like the Twitch codec is having a bit of a hard time with the parallax guys. It's getting kind of blocky back there.
Has it been doing that the whole time, or overtime, or just for the last few seconds?
It's just a little blocky. It's not too bad.
Tell me if it stops too. I didn't know if maybe it's potentially just the fact that, oh hey, I had more shit going on my end when I was getting a Facebook call.
Wait, people still use Facebook?
Oh
I like
yes.
how you just like careened off of those three and just bounced through and took like no damage.
Right? See, I'm getting used to this.
Oh yeah. In fact, it's getting to the place where it's kind of hard to tell the difference between your flying and mine.
Oh?
Yeah. You're mostly doing things that I would do, except I do significantly less landing on top of the enemy.
Well, come on, let's face it. If either one of us are going to be a cocky piece of shit in a video game, it's very likely going to be me.
It's so long to kill those guys with the low power laser. I'm so sad right now. It's so painful. See, if it was me, I would have dropped to the bottom to buy time and dropped heat.
True, but again, CPS.
Let's see here. What is the actual damage if the width is down low like that? The multiplier is the width multiplier over the laser max width, which is 0.5. And when it's low like that, let's just see what that actual width is, shall we? Looks like it fluctuates between 0.1 and 0.2.
Close.
Different 0.15. So yeah, you're firing at 30% efficiency then.
Nice.
When your heat is full. I didn't even realize that. That was just a math thing that felt right when I just plugged in some test, well, not even test numbers, just the numbers that were already there. Of course, that also means that you do reduce damage during your laser ramp up, because you notice it starts out really narrow and then widens.
Oh yeah.
There I saw the laser not spawning. It was at 28 HP. But see, there again, you were doing what I was doing. Close to the bottom, flying backwards, boosting away from enemies, and trying to shoot at them. That's what I've been doing when I've been able to successfully reproduce that. So, I don't know. It's something to do with that circumstance set. I'll need to track.
And is it only disappearing when contacting enemies too, or?
Having the enemies there definitely seems to make it more common. I don't think I've ever seen it, actually, without an enemy being present. And by present, I mean, like, in your face. So maybe... Oh, I bet I know what it is.
Oh, do you think it's losing out focus to the particle trail following you, not from the flames, but the other one, or what?
I think that it's getting confused because, see, I'm using 3D physics in essentially a 2D world as well as 3D rendering. You probably noticed this.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's happening when you fire the laser is the lasers are not actually going straight out from the arms. They're converging at a point at exactly 0C, just because it's a 2D world. So I think because I'm firing the ray out of the center of the capsule there, I'm firing the ray out of the center of the capsule, and I think it's impacting the enemies and doing weird things with the end point of the laser.
Okay, I was at high heat there when I just produced that, and was I flying away? Was I boosting away?
Yeah, I saw it there. You weren't at max heat. I don't think the heat has anything to do with it anymore. I think it has to do with the angle of the laser coming through the capsule.
Okay.
Now, how to go about actually fixing that? Well, first I'd have to confirm it, but I don't know. That would require a significantly different way of handling the laser than I'm doing right now. Maybe I just fire a ray out of each individual barrel directly into the center, and I don't know. It would work a little better. It would also be a little slower, but at the same time, speed isn't really a concern right now. I think it'd be fine. I'll make a note. I'll have to try that.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, I really should be doing SC2 builds and whatnot for ideas for Glenn, but I think Jeremy would understand if currently I'm not doing that, because I know that he was also going to be doing some slight refresher with it at some point.
Well, I mean, you know, ultimately, this game's still less broken than Protoss.
You're not wrong. Do you hear that, Blizzard? Because I know, Blizzard, you guys secretly watch my channel. They're the unconfirmed person watching.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Clearly.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like how I get a surprising number of views on my channel from Sweden. I'm pretty sure that's Paradox. Has to be. No one else lives in Sweden, right?
I think so.
But yeah, you've definitely gotten the hang of fuel neutral hovering. That's one of the big techniques that you really need for this game.
And I've also picked up a technique that you really don't need for this game and shouldn't use.
Landing on the enemies?
Boarding tactics, yes.
Here's the thing. I'm probably going to make an enemy type where that's what you want to do.
Okay.
I mean, this enemy type is probably not going to stick around. It's just too basic.
You know what I could see this being a good enemy type for?
Like a tutorial level?
That too. But I was thinking like a small sub-enemy that just tries to help swarm you and overwhelm you for the boss.
Drone or something.
Nope. Holy shit. Tie them in, have them in the tutorial level, and tie them in with the first level boss fight.
That guy spawned right above you.
Right?
Yeah, tie them into the first boss fight where the boss is like a drone controller and throws like 1,000,000 drones at you.
Yeah?
Ooh, you got yourself pincered bad there. But you're fine.
They turned me into a nuke. I got better. They turned me into a eunuch. I got better. No. No, you didn't.
Also, the original version of this that I uploaded to Discord that I don't think anybody downloaded because everyone was offline when I had it ready, it didn't have that explosion particle effect, and it was actually kind of hard to tell when the enemies were killed if they didn't go spiraling off like this did. Because you notice they get a random force when they die. So sometimes they spiral off, sometimes they just sink like that guy. Sometimes they just kind of stay put.
And sometimes they wait for you to DFA them.
Yep.
Oh, check this out. Yeah! I just set a new personal best for writing.
Nice. You almost managed to ride that guy his entire despawn timer.
Yep, that's what I was trying to do. That should be an achievement.
Well, I'm a little ways away from including achievements in this.
Of course, of course. As one would be at this state of the game.
For one thing, I've never done anything with Steamworks. Also, yes, I have noticed that it is technically possible with some combinations to fire your laser and your hand thruster at the same time.
Ah. Yeah, I just noticed it that time that it fired. I'll admit that time I did that, I had no idea that I. Ooh.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, let me figure it out. There is a specific combination that you can do to do it, and it's not that hard. It's just fire your lasers, then fire your thrusters. It turns on the particle effect, but the thrusters don't actually fire. You notice you don't get force. So yeah, that's just a visual bug. But you also notice that if you hold down the thrusters and fire the laser, it'll shoot sparks, but not the laser. That is intended behavior.
Okay.
And it will build heat as well. That is also intended.
Is it because you're still firing or activating the laser system itself?
Yeah, it's just the laser is currently occupied being a thruster. And so the sparks are to signify that it's having difficulties. It's a little awkward because it normally sparks like that when you're firing a laser, but it is intended to spark like that when you're trying to fire the laser while firing the thruster. The real thing that I need to figure out is why it will fire the... Actually, I bet I know why. Let's see, where's the hand thruster particle system at here? Yeah. Okay, it's because... Let me think through the logic though. Oh, right. Okay, that's stupid. Why did I do that? So it was only turning off the hand thruster particle effects if you're not holding the laser button. That's why it was happening.
Ah.
Now, as to why I had it doing that, couldn't tell you. Let's see if that fixes it. Yep, that fixes it.
Just out of curiosity, with how you were talking about being able to switch out skills on a QWER type of system somewhat interchangeably, would you be looking at having certain abilities be influenced by having beaten a boss to acquire abilities at all, or no?
I haven't honestly given any thought to what the progression system would look like.
Okay.
That does. I'm tweaking the interaction between using lasers and using thrusters a bit.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. I don't like the feel of that. Revert. Nice vertical kiting there.
Thank you. Holy shit, he was using his dead buddy as a shield.
Yeah, sometimes they accidentally do some pretty clever things.
Right?
Although a shield ship is not a bad idea for an enemy type. One that's specifically designed to have a really obnoxious weak point to get to, and then just try
Shield
to
others.
their allies.
Yep. Oh god. I just thought about what you were talking about earlier about heat areas with stars. That would be obnoxious. You just
What was that you cut out there a bit?
I was gonna say, or I was saying, I just remembered what you were saying about the potential of heat factors if near stars, and oh my god, that hard to get to weak spot on a shield bro. Oh god, near a star with heat factor. Holy shit, that would be insane.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I subscribe to the evil school of game design.
Doesn't exist. That just means challenge.
Yeah.
Unless you mean you're gonna make
ambulance mission in Mech Commander. I mean, in my latest playthrough, I handled it pretty well, but that was because I knew exactly what was coming and when. Because I've played that mission so many times. But yes, I fully expect most of my enemy designs to be jerks, and I totally expect that most of my boss designs will just be evil. Four phases of misery.
4 phases. Oh boy. Ooh. Shivers of Argus running down my spine.
Yeah, and you weren't even there for our heroic progression. That was a fun 65 wipes.
How tough was Basement Dude on Heroic?
Basement Dude, Veramathras?
Yes.
Not too bad. We downed him in, I think, 4 wipes.
Oh, so nothing really all that much different as far as a challenge compared to when we were doing norms of
Actually,
them?
it was more than 4 wipes now that I think about it. There's one extra mechanic that they added for that fight on Heroic, where you know how you're supposed to stack together and not be away from people?
Yeah.
So you get healing? Well, they added a mechanic on Heroic where you need to get away from people or else you'll give them all the healing debuff.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a couple of issues with placement in that, but other than that, it was fine.
Well, considering when we were still downing regular Argus semi-regularly before regularly, and we'd still run into those placement issues, I can't say I'm surprised. Oh, someone take the bubble up. 3 people take the bubble up. Oh, well, there's half of everyone in stage 1.
Yeah.
That moment when stage 1 was giving us more fucking grief than stages 2 and 3 combined.
Well, the good news is, with how unforgiving that is on Heroic, people figured it out. We got to the point where we were getting through phase 1 pretty clean after wipe 66. A lot of times, so people, especially DPSers, have a tendency to tunnel in and not notice that they have a mechanic like that. That's the single biggest flaw with taking a normal raiding group into Heroic. Because you need people who can both put out the high numbers and do the mechanics and keep a close eye on that sort of thing.
Oh, Jesus.
For some of our people.
Check out as I careen through this dude. I might have already done it though. Alright!
Now that needed some fall damage. For him, I mean.
How many discs?
Not gonna pincer me, boys.
I am now at PB60.
Very nice.
That's right, still second best in the world. And yes, I'm completely fine with omitting some information there.
Time to go looking for health, I think. Oh, health.
Oh, jeez. I kind of got gangbanged there.
Oh man, I just saw it. That stack, though.
Right? Oh. Feels bad, man. Oh, hey, I got my PB, though, so...
I just had the same thing happen to me. I had 2 doom stacks, one above and one below, and I couldn't get out.
I'll admit I'm completely fine with the fact that we are just using CK2 terms, or, well, to be fair, paradox terms. We use it interchangeably, depending on Stellar. I think the only thing we don't use Doomstacks to define is anything in, why am I forgetting? Hoi4. Why was I forgetting that name?
Hoi4 because you spread out over the border.
Exactly. Yep. And of course, with that, it does make sense.
Indeed.
Whereas, ooh, I will admit, just at this testing stage of 8 hours into building, I'm already just enjoying this. So, yeah, I would actually feel very insulted now if you did not develop this any further.
Well, I plan to. I've had a ton of fun playing it.
Oh yeah. It's simple and has that arcade charm.
Yeah. Yeah, the trick is going to be in developing it further, maintaining that while also keeping it interesting.
Yep.
That's going to be the challenge. Wow, he did not want to let you out of that. He just
didn't.
wanted to give you the old hug of death.
Right? Check out what I'm about to do here. Boom. He just stood on top and dueled him. Straight up.
Wow, you really ricocheted off of that guy.
Right?
Also, very nice flying there, going directly under them, just barely. I like it.
Thank you.
I don't like the using the weak lasers, especially not when you're landed on them.
That should almost be a funny unlockable. Oh, hey, you've unlocked the Harley suit. It only shoots weak lasers, but it has real good durability. You can just sit on ships for a while. Don't sit on doom stacks.
It has the affix of turning off the 2-second timer on the shield regeneration after taking damage. So it regenerates even while you're taking damage, and you can just sit on them. As long as you don't take big spikes.
Right.
Wow, that guy thought he was going to be late to the party.
Oh?
The guy who came, like, dropping in from directly above.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that guy spawned on screen.
That one he did, yeah.
I've not yet had one spawn actually inside of me, but theoretically that is possible.
Very true.
Oh, I didn't expect you to die there.
I didn't either. One must have got, like, stacked with another couple or something.
Yeah, it was clearly a stack, but I didn't even notice. Yeah, I mean, like I said, these guys are not intended to stack together. If I make an enemy type that is intended to stack together, it'll be more obvious when they're stacked together.
Okay.
But right now, it's just because the AI for these guys is just pathetically stupid. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. That moment when I'm all out of fuel just trying to hunt for an enemy. Yeah, there we go. He wants to square up with me. Here we go. Weird. For some reason, my mouse has now decided it's going to appear on top of this.
You mean on stream?
No, not on stream, but over the actual app, or over the actual executable. I have the mouse cursor. I don't think it's showing up on stream, at least as far as I know. It is?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Well, having it on right now is useful for me.
Oh, nice.
That way I can see if anything is going wrong, like with the aiming or whatever. I mean, it shouldn't. It's a pretty simple arc tangent. By the way, if you're wondering why the explosion effect looks so much better than a lot of the other ones, it's because it's a default particle effect from Unity.
Also, upcoming disappearing laser again.
Okay. Oh yeah, So it is. Well, you did have pretty much max heat there. Well, I mean, clearly more testing is warranted. I think I have it fixed in the current build, but I don't know that for sure. I'll need to test it.
That's true.
Also, you might not have gotten to the point where it's super necessary yet, but can I just say the amount of fuel that you have is like evilly high, because it lulls you into a false sense of security where you're just like, oh, I have fuel forever.
Nope.
Until you're right in the middle of 30 dudes and you need to go in one direction and you're just like, oh crap, I'm out of fuel.
Oh, I've noticed that. Of course, at higher amounts, usually when I'm up at like at least 40 plus kills.
Really? There are no pickups down there?
Yep, I'm kind of surprised, but I'm really high health, full shield, and
Yeah, you don't really need them.
and I have my cooldown taken care of now.
You also have a hat. A volunteer hat.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your volunteer hats on. I'm about to make you feel really bad now.
Well, at least you're burning away from him while using the mini lasers.
I should have burned towards him. Just like, get ready for a headache.
How would you have burned towards him while shooting him with the mini lasers, though? You were above him. The best you could have hoped for was to fall.
You know, you're right.
And that is the problem with burning up from Doom stacks.
I mean, you say that, but every time I've done it, the same results has happened.
I'm talking about hitting the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that. I thought you were talking about getting pincered.
Oh no. No, I mean, the main problem is it's a square arena, and you pretty much just pick a direction and go in it, but you have to be ready to pivot at a moment's notice if you run into the wall, since the walls are not currently showing up on the radar.
True.
Walls showing up on the radar, I think, are going to be a pretty high priority addition.
Though it might be interesting to have one level be like, oh hey, here's a level condition, radar jam.
Oh yeah, like they're in a nebula or something.
Right?
Pulsars. Who knows?
Well, personally, I am very satisfied with A, this stream, because I'm actually really enjoying myself, and B, really enjoying this game.
And you got another viewer at some point.
Oh yeah, that too.
So yeah, at this point, I have a list of concepts that I want to explore for this game and try to flesh out and see what works and what doesn't, but it's going to be a matter of priorities.
True, true.
And at some point, I'll need to do an art pass because I suspect capsules aren't going to cut it forever.
You don't think so?
It's just a theory I'm working on.
Alright, there we go.
That health pickup didn't want to be absorbed into your body.
That's alright. It should be on the ground for now.
Oh, it did finally manage to ghost its way inside you. Good old vector 3 dot move towards. Ignoring physics collisions since 2002.
Whoa!
The guy from above?
The one that just went flying crazily away ricocheted.
Yep.
Right?
And then went flying off into the background.
That was cool.
I'm willing to bet that that one was caused by them stacking together. That kind of glitches out the physics engine sometimes. Now I'm sad.
I love the mini lasers. But then again, I'm also a jerk.
You do realize that you have 30% damage capacity for full heat generation, right?
Oh yeah. And they still die to me. I'm a cocky asshole. Oh.
Maybe I should make an enemy type that can only be affected by the mini lasers.
I see what your game plan is. Okay. Now it'll be an enemy that I actually use full on. Lasers on. He's like, okay. Now see, you're gonna get way more data than you ever A, asked for, and B, needed on the mini lasers from me, way more than anyone else. So that's always a good thing.
Questions about how the mini laser works.
Not yet. Once you get those new enemy types in, oh man.
Okay, so my list of potential enemy types that I am interested in implementing. Shield Bros, Nanoblobs, Lander Honors, Mini Laser Haters.
Ooh.
Ooh, I just had an idea.
What's
I
that?
have no idea how I'll implement it, but I have an idea. Essentially, enemies who, if you don't hit them in their weak point, they're a mirror, and they just reflect.
Bounce it at you? Oh.
Not necessarily at you, but just
But
off in a direction. And you can potentially use that to take care of dudes like behind Shield Bros and stuff.
okay. You know, that seems like it'd be really interesting as well in a boss fight.
Indeed. Wow, that guy who came in from the top left was a total jerk. You had a great kiting pattern, and then he's just like, hi.
Right?
Same with that guy from straight up.
All I want to do is move in one direction and shoot with my weak laser.
But no, there's always an enemy there.
Right? Trying to make me do sensical things. Oh, check out this sweet power slide on the floor as I then use that to eat all the power-ups.
Nice. All the power-ups that you didn't need.
Right. I did need the heat one. That's literally the only one that I needed.
Yeah.
That's the only one I wanted.
I guess all those shield capacitors are just a bonus. I think another thing that I should probably do, at least with the shield capacitors, is make a system like the armor in, what is that, Unreal, where you can go up over the cap, but it ticks down.
Oh, yeah. I believe it's Unreal that does that. I'll just let some enemies build up here really quick. Oh. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the other screen. Oh, hey! Holy shit.
Create your website fast and easy with Bluehost.
Hello to any of the new viewers who are actually checking this out. This is a game currently in development, of course.
It's got a whole 8 hours of development.
Right?
Now.
Which means it's still more playable than a Blizzard game.
Well, certainly some Blizzard games.
Like you said before, and I will quote you on this, it's still less broken than Protoss.
Yep.
Protoss is so broke down. I think I'll make a point to, whenever you want me to show off a build and you have time, stream this with you.
That would work.
We'll BS and get you some kind of extra exposure. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna plug you right now, actually. Just because there's some other people on here. So, right here, I have Atraitus, the person who made this current game in development. He's also the one that I do the Crusader Kings Succession game with. He is going to be doing a series on his YouTube channel, youtube.com/AtraitusGaming. ATRAITUS, right?
That is correct.
And it will be pretty much encompassing the full development.
Yeah, I mean, this prototype here, I didn't record the development for it. I may start, but I'll probably restart from scratch and we'll rebuild this. I have no idea when that's going to start yet. It kind of depends on how many times we die in Crusader Kings between now and then.
This is true. I mean, we are probably within what? If we get your standard lives, we're probably going into EU4 off of your ruler. You're going in with, I think, a age 1 ruler.
What, like 1400?
We're dangerously close to 1400, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I've been having pretty short lives of late. I usually have been getting like 20-ish years in total, including any potential regencies. So, I mean, it is going to be wrapping up here pretty soon. And I don't know, I might start redoing this and filming the development of it tomorrow-ish, but it wouldn't be live for a while.
True. Because of the time slots. I mean,
of course, there is also the other potential issue this month of jury duty for me, so that might mess with my schedule, and I might use these as like backup videos or something. I don't know. But I mean, I'm at the point right now where I can probably recreate this in like 3 episodes, since I'm not going to be like fiddling with numbers and such. And I wouldn't mind recreating it because it's currently titled New Unity Project, which is a little awkward.
True. I mean, clearly
there's a way to rename it, but I've never actually figured out how.
Clearly, it needs to be named Project Snedgus.
Obviously. Snedgus is a great name for a game. You and your mini lasers.
Right? Well, that's how I burned them at the state, you know?
Oh, okay, I getcha. Well, at least he dropped a heat pickup.
I really wish I would have collided with that dude on my way down.
All those heat pickups, holy crap. That was like 4. It's worth 80. I think heat pickups are 20. I can check. Let's see here. Shield capacitor. Coolant strength, 20. Yep, it's 20. They're all 20 except for the medical kits, which are 25.
Okay.
Only reason medical kits are stronger is because health doesn't regenerate.
Right. I figured that was the case. Oh, shoot. Oh, and picked up more than I needed. Yikes.
Boy, you're kind of going ham on the fuel there.
Right?
I gotta say though, one of the most fascinating things to me has been, even though I didn't talk to you like hardly at all about flying techniques, you've pretty much instantly picked up on like the horizontal sweep to a bit tilted there. That was weird.
That depends. I haven't gotten tilted yet playing this game.
Not that kind of tilted. I'm talking like the camera. That's not supposed to happen. Anyway, like when you're dropping down and then doing a horizontal sweep with the thruster to pull up over on the other side, I did exactly that same burn, and it's interesting to me to see that you developed that on your own in like a matter of minutes of playing this.
Oh yeah. All it took really was me getting used to how the engine works on this, and oh man, this is just so enjoyable. No reds down here, damn it.
It's all about that wild careening. Actually, it's not, though. It's more about flying in control.
Oh boy. So you're gonna say I'm gonna enter and lose many MLGs?
That sounds accurate.
I mean,
There's a lot of dudes who rip you.
right?
Oh, no.
Very. Give it a moment. Rip me.
Oh, rip you.
Rip me very much so. Alright, so... Yeah, I think you definitely had mentioned that too, where without telling me any of the maneuvering, you were saying that I was basically controlling as though you were as well.
Yeah, your control style is very similar. Like I was saying before, it feels very natural once you wrap your head around the way the physics works.
Oh, very.
If he had been over a little bit, that would have been a nice off-screen kill.
Right? I was so tempted to land on this last one though, just for fun. But then again, landing on them is not a great way to PB.
I mean,
It's fun.
it's fun, but it's not a great way to get high scores. However, that might not be the case for too much longer if I do add those lander honors.
True.
Which I do think sounds like an interesting idea for an enemy. An enemy that, if you're not in contact with it, you do the non-weak point damage. The real question is how to visually communicate that. So I suspect the next build for this won't be available for, probably at least a week or so.
Okay. We will definitely,
I mean, we could see about maybe
there.
making this like a once a week sort of thing.
that would be
I don't know
fun.
if my timing on that'll be amazing.
Well, I'd say probably outside of the jury duty and or new buildings, probably would be able to do that then.
Yeah, and I mean, especially after Crusader Kings ends, then I'll have a pretty decent amount of time to put into it every week. Which we are getting close to that.
Oh yeah. Also, I still have no idea why so many of those places just become uncolonized land. It's at 100%, so it's... Right? Have you ever ran into that?
It's 1 day. You have to have a colonist there for 1 day. And then it becomes colonized. It's weird. I don't know why the converter does that.
I almost wonder if... Does that converter rely on the EU4's custom country builder? Or no?
I believe it does.
Because if it does, then that explains it, because I know that you have a certain limit on what you can do.
Yeah, it's also possible that it just doesn't know what to do with provinces that exist in Europa but don't in Crusader Kings or something.
Possible. Or it could literally just be, yeah, no, asshole. You don't get to have all of this right away. You'll be too overpowered. which I would be completely understanding of. Let's see if I have my... Nope, no more greens down here. Alright, so... I want to hear from anyone in the chat. What do you guys think so far of this prototype game made in 8 hours so far? Anyone who's watching that is not the developer of the game. There may be some bias there, right? I mean, I certainly have some bias too. But also, let's... Of course! I agree with Ecotor. What do you think, Atraitus? Do you think Ecotor is pretty much on the money?
He seems like a pretty trustworthy guy.
I think so.
Also, devilishly handsome.
Yeah, that'll work. Especially for the police sketch.
That sounds right.
The disrespect laser right there. As he dies.
That was pretty disrespectful.
Kind of a jerk.
Well, at least that front guy had the good sense to get out of the way. He wasn't trying to be a shield bro.
He wasn't trying to be. There we go. And we have another instance of invisible laser here. I'm not sure what conditions are being met here. I figure if I see anything very interesting, I'll shout it out ahead like that too.
Yeah, I think ultimately I'll have to go back and check the VOD on some of these.
True. I forgot to boost straight through him. That's unfortunate.
That guy spawned with you sitting on him.
Right?
I love it.
Is that the closest that we've got to someone spawning inside?
Yep. I've never had one that close.
I get another really close one.
Right on your head.
Right?
He's very eager to be a hat.
So, when I juke him from like, just go around, make it look like he's gonna land on top of me, but then I swing up and just straight up destroy him with the Mega Laser, is that called a hat trick?
It could be.
I mean, I say that knowing full well what a fucking hat trick is. I'd love doing the DFAs on these guys, by the way, I can't lie. Only thing more enjoyable is riding them down to hell.
Well, do you want to know what I'm thinking for the design for the lander honors?
Sure. I would love to know.
They're going to be shaped in a wacky way so that it is literally impossible to hit their weak point unless you fly like through a mini obstacle course and land inside of them.
Oh, so they're going to be kind of a larger sized enemy?
Yeah, not huge, but definitely bigger than these guys. These guys that I have started referring to in my internal monologue as dronernators.
Dronernators, I like it. Oh, I was not paying attention to my meter. I didn't realize I was at 100 there. I'm ready to duel you.
Why you just stood there?
I'm ready to duel you with absolutely no lasers.
Oh god. I just thought of PvP in this game.
Oh god. We're not ready for me to BM people? Oh hey, look at this! I'm killing you with the weak lasers!
As of right now, I am not planning any multiplayer. That might be something that I explore later on, but that's out of scope for right now.
There's that developer term again. Now, for anyone who does happen to be watching that is not used to actually developing themselves, what is scope and/or scope creep? I remember these terms.
Well, scope creep isn't really used so much as a term as frequently as feature creep, but essentially scope is just you narrow in on your set of features that you want, and anything that is not in that set of features is out of scope, which has a tendency to bring on feature creep. That is to say, you're adding features without actually finishing the product, and it becomes kind of a long-term cycle where you just keep working on it endlessly. So ultimately, with video game development, it's possible to always be adding more things. At some point, you have to say enough is enough, and you have to know what your goals are so that you can wrap up development and just be like, that's a complete game. Because, ultimately, especially with a game like this, you could add more enemy types until the end of your life. You know?
True. Now, what is it that... And I do remember exactly what it is, so... What is it that you would say really helps kind of keep to the direction? not let that feature creep happen? What is it that you need to really base off of when you're making your game?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, the advice that you're going to get on that is going to be to make a design document and stick to it. Write up all of your ideas, and when you have new ideas that you want to add to it, you want to have, well, if you're in the Miyamoto school of game design at any rate, you want to have a core statement that essentially encapsulates everything that the game is to be. And when you're looking to add a new feature, you evaluate it against the core statement and you say, does this improve the game in terms of the core statement? Does it help us reach the goal as outlined in the core statement? And then from there, you can make your decision on whether to include it or not. But ultimately, having a design document allows you to lay out all of the mechanics, all of the enemies, plan out all of the interactions between them, things like that, before you even start putting down code. I say that, but I haven't put together a single word on a single piece of paper about this yet.
True, but to be fair, I mean,
this is a prototype.
Yeah, it's a prototype, and admittedly, you do a lot better than I certainly do tinkering around in Unity, just doing stuff, and found something you could do. Whereas, admittedly, I think I would be heavily reliant on a statement like that before I could even begin.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm going to need to figure out what exactly I want this game to be, and then just add things if they further that goal.
Absolutely.
If they don't, then they don't, and that's feature creep. At least until the game itself is essentially complete. At that point, you can start thinking about like expansions or sequels or whatever, and those are good places to, well, expand.
And again, we got an invisible laser there.
Indeed. Heat wasn't high either, and we weren't in contact with any of those guys. That's interesting. I wonder if that's related to the issue that causes the foot particles to sometimes not play even though the thrust is happening. Sometimes I think that the Unity input isn't 100% registering. I might write my own input controller to see if that's what's happening. Not the first time I've done that, as you know.
Oh yeah.
We wrote one of those for your project.
Yep.
But I mean, this is basically just... It's very poorly written, which is one of the reasons why I want to redo it. Because it's just one big fixed update statement with a huge list of if conditionals. Did I say fixed update statement? It's not a
I think you did.
It's a method. And see, that's what happens when you use the mini lasers. You run out of space. It'll be a lot easier to do the kiting once I get the walls appearing on the radar, though.
Hey, physics engine!
Uh-oh. What's it do? You never can... Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Good job, physics. Again, that's caused by the objects being in too close a proximity to each other. Once I have the enemies be properly physics driven, that should sort itself out mostly. There's still some awfully weird physics stuff. Like in my Kerbal Space Program series, there's some really weird physics with detaching a fuel tank on Moho with my probe.
Oh?
Just wait till you see that.
Oh boy.
Don't know if you know this. Kerbal Space Program is made in Unity.
I remember.
It's the same physics engine.
I remember you had said that.
Squad significantly rewrote portions of the physics engine for KSP, but it's the same basis.
I believe I'm now at a PB again.
Yeah, you're pretty close for sure.
I couldn't remember if I got above 55 or not.
Reaching the low 60s is quite an achievement at this point.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They're really closing in.
They are.
That sweet, sweet 23 health.
Ah, shit. 60. That is definitely a PB. Wow.
Oh, that was just rude.
Right. Oh,
Just closed in from all sides.
they did. They really did.
Well, it is basically 1 o'clock, so maybe we should wrap
Yeah.
this up.
That's what I was actually planning on doing, since unfortunately I'm working tomorrow. So thank you very much for giving me the heads up that this was ready, and thank you for stopping in to stream, and everyone else watching, thank you once again for checking this out. If you want to see more of this content, go ahead and head over to youtube.com/Atraitus Gaming. That is ATRAIUS. And follow me here. We will keep doing some updating on this, as well as Atraitus has his nice schedule here. And me, I am working on being more frequent at keeping stuff up to date. And this will be fun to do that. Alright, adios everyone on the stream, and we will catch you on the flip side.